Hey team, I'm so excited to be filming on location in New Hampshire at my friend Kristen's house, and to have a willing model who is not a professional Kinstretch instructor. This is going to be really good. We were kind of talking about it before class, and I think especially for all of you who are new in our community, which is a number of folks right now, it'll be really lovely to have a model in the video who isn't a professional, because she will think to ask things and will pull cues out of me that will be really useful for y'all to hear as well. So I'm stoked for that.
I.e. beginner.
Yeah, exactly. Beginner at Kinstretch. So for today's class, you can do it in your living room. You're gonna want a little bit of padding for under your knees. So depending on how thick your yoga mat is, you might wanna grab like a plush beach towel and fold it up. We're gonna be in kind of a quadruped position for a bit of the class. You'll need some kind of elevated surface. We're going to use this coffee table, but a couch or an ottoman. It really doesn't matter what height it is, something that's like about yay high that you can put your arm on when you're sort of in a quadruped position, and then find a way into a nice stretch for the pec and anterior shoulder stuff. And then always good to have a yoga block handy if you have one. If you don't worry about it. This is not a block requiring class. So we're gonna do a little shoulder snack today, I'm calling it. I was stoked also to have Kristen be a model for this, because as we were doing our cars the first day I was here, I was like, oh, you need more shoulder external rotation. I have a thing for that. So that's what this is all about. We're gonna open up some chest tissue. We're gonna really strengthen our control through that external rotation range, which is a real game changer for being able to comfortably reach overhead without involving your spine, and a really helpful piece to sort of reduce some of the tension that folks tend to feel in their necks that comes from a lot of time at the screen.
That's me.
Yeah, totally. So get yourself about a yoga mat's worth of floor space. Plan out what that elevated surface object is going to be. We're going to get started with some CARs for the upper body. So I'm going to have Kristen come into a tall kneeling position. And if you've got that yoga block and you know you like a little extra tension, you can put it between your thighs and then just give it a gentle squeeze, and that's going to help activate the lower body muscles to stay still. If tall kneeling isn't your jam, you can totally stand for this. I'm going to keep Kristen in tall kneeling so that we stay in frame. But absolutely choose the base position that feels like a base for your work. Yeah, it should feel supportive and not stressful. So we're going to start with cervical or neck CARs. So Kristen, I'm going to have you make 2 fists by your side. Give me one little shrug up with your shoulders, and then one big, powerful anti-shrug, so that you feel like you're reaching your knuckles down towards the floor, and maybe even waking up some kind of like armpit stuff on either side as part of that reach effort. And at home, too, you can experiment with, do you get more armpit activation in a slightly wider arm position or in a slightly narrower arm position? Do you get more if you rotate outward versus if you rotate inward? These are just variables you can play with. As you do successive retakes of this class, I encourage you to try different angles of the arm as you're stabilizing your shoulder against your neck CARs. All right, so then take a deep breath in, create some good intra-abdominal pressure, nice brace, like you're ready to be a playful karate chop to the bread basket, because that happens all the time in your life. Good, and then start tucking your chin into your throat. Nod your nose to your chest and trace your collarbone to the right. There you go, that's the one. Good, try to look past that right shoulder and then rainbow across the ceiling with your chin. Tracing, 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 all the way over to the left shoulder, and then tuck in and pass through. We're gonna keep going for a few more reps. Find your 1 mile per hour pace at home. You don't need to match what Kristen is doing. Kristen's gonna focus on, and I hope you will as well, seeking a stretching sensation that's gonna move depending on the angle of your neck. But try to lean into whatever stretches you find in a pleasant way. Nothing that's painful or too twangy. And of course, make sure you're breathing in there somewhere, breathing and moving. And then just doing your best to have your t-shirt logo not come along for the ride, right? So we're gonna keep that t-shirt logo facing forward, pause wherever you are, and then go ahead and reverse directions. Reinvest. Are you still reaching your knuckles towards the floor? Are you still maintaining tension through your midsection? Are you finding stretching sensations through all the angles that your neck can do? Good, and finding that 1 mile per hour pace, such that you're not zipping through the parts that you don't like and only going slow through the parts that feel good. right? We want to start to control our full range of motion such that we convince our nervous system that we are in charge of ourselves, and therefore we get rewarded with more permission to move in different ways. Finish up this last rep you're working on, getting back to chin to chest, and then let that go. Very nice. How's that feel?
Good.
Yeah, it's a fan favorite usually. Okay, next we're going to do some scapular CARs. So I'm going to have Kristen come to that sort of very traditional position that I often have you do, where your arms are at about chest height. You're going to make fists for me, and then widen the hands a little wider than the armpits. Yeah, there you go. Now here, again, you can play with your arm angle. You could do more of an externally rotated bias. You could do more of an internally rotated bias. I'd love for you to vary that as you take this class again and again. For today, I'm going to have Kristen do a real externally rotated position. And again, here, as you start moving your scaps, don't let your ribs pop out. So we want to keep the ribs knitted. She knows this is something that happens, yes. You want to squeeze your butt, whether you're standing or kneeling. You want to squeeze that block. Don't let me steal it. So you're a plank from your collarbones down. And your arms are part of that plank too. The moving piece is going to be that shoulder blade right on the back. So we're going to start by pulling the shoulder blades together and then just apart. Yeah, back and forth like that. Together and apart. Now as you reach apart, really reach those knuckles. Reach them, reach them, reach them, reach them.
My chest just wants to come out.
Yes.
Do all the work.
Yes, so keep those ribs knitted, keep your abs on. Notice that impulse and just see if you can say no thank you, right? That's the spine trying to pretend it is the shoulder blades, which happens to everybody. You're not alone. And now squeeze those shoulder blades into the spine. Stay squeezed. I want you to slide up to the ears. Now stay up and slide them apart from the spine. Send your knuckles forward just like you were doing before. Good. Then slide down towards your waist, anti-shrug, and then pinch back into the spine. Keep going like this. Up, wide across your back while you're up there. Down towards your waist, and then while you're down, squeeze in, and that's the trickiest corner usually. Yeah. Up, you're doing great, you're doing great. Wide, good, down, and back in, and then pause and just let your arms relax for a second. Mental shakeout. Yeah. So as you do your scapular CARs, you're gonna find these places where you're like, that is a no man's land. Like I am telling them to go there and they do not know where to go. So that's happening and you're new, that's totally normal. All right, so let's bring the arms back up. We'll go opposite direction. So again, give me that fist. Give me as much external rotation as you can. So you're winding your thumb to the outside, and then we're gonna reverse it. So you're gonna pinch your shoulder blades into the spine. Keep them squeezed in. Now slide down towards your waist. Woof. Stay down there and push wide. Stretch those knuckles forward. Yes, and then come back up. Good. Keep going in that direction. Into the spine, down towards the waist, wide across your back, and back up. Good. And just do your best to keep your hands about the same width. They're going to try to sneak in. We just want to let the shoulder blades move. This is my favorite analogy. The shoulder blades are moving on the rib cage. The arms are the cat riding the Roomba. Yeah, this is my fave. Good. One more time. Up. In, down, and wide. Good, and then relax. Nice, okay. So then we're gonna start working with our actual glenohumeral joint, which is the real focus for today's class. So Kristen, I'm gonna have you come to that half T position, where your arm is directly out to the side, exactly. And so here what we're looking for, gang, is that the fist is about shoulder height, and that your arm is neither behind you nor in front of you, but right in line with that shoulder. You're gonna take your own other hand and you're gonna place it somewhere in this vicinity of the upper trap, depending on what this shoulder will allow. But what I'd like is for you to be able to monitor as you're doing your work if your shoulder blade is trying to shrug upwards, because that's a little sneaky cheat that the body will do to try to help us feel.
Yes.
Yeah. So exactly, so Kristen's got her fingertips wrapped around, she can feel the edge of her shoulder blade, so she's gonna get that advance warning if the shoulder blade starts to come up. So then all we're gonna do right now for 30 seconds, keep the arms straight, nice actively straight elbow, so this will feel like a tricep exercise. You're gonna rotate as much as you can in one direction, and then you're gonna wring out as much rotation as you can in the other direction. Exactly, keep it going, you're on the clock. Rotate, and rotate. And try not to have your arm lower or lift in space. I'm giving Kristen a little target here. If you're training alone, you could try to find a piece of furniture to hover above, or just do your best consciously. Like, let me peek over your arm. Good. One more in each direction. Really feel, where does my body stop rotating, even though I'm still asking for rotation to happen? Yes, this is good. And then relax it. Nice. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. So you could stick that new arm out. Good. Make a nice strong fist. Active elbow, exactly. And however much your elbow straightens, I want you to just feel like your muscles are actively engaged in that position. So like you can see Kristen has a tiny bit of hyperextension available in her elbow. That's not necessarily a bad thing. And if you have that range available, we want to train in it so that your body is familiar with that range. I don't have that, so I just get to a straight elbow. We're all a little different, right? So then start your rotations. Rotate as much as you can in one direction, and then as much as you can in the other direction. Yeah, and really key in here, this side's gonna be different. No contribution from the scapula. There, oh, this was crunchy.
Yeah.
I could hear that from here. I don't know if you can hear that at home. There might be crunchy bits, that's real normal. We just don't want any zings, pinches, or pain points. If we run into any of those, we just wanna make the movement a little smaller so that we stay in that pain-free range. Keep rotating for 3. Wring it out all the way from the upper arm, 2. So up here where the t-shirt meets the long sleeve, 1. Good, and relax, nice. So it's worth noting that you will see the most motion in the wrist, but Kristen is doing her best to try to have the motion come from the top of the arm bone, and I want you to do that at home as well. So we're gonna build on that. So we're gonna go back to the first arm. You're gonna start in your half T. You're gonna use your other hand for feedback. Make sure your scapula isn't getting involved. We're gonna maximize our external rotation. So you're gonna roll back so your thumb is pointing behind you or even maybe down towards the floor. If you have a lot of external rotation, this is gonna be different for everybody. We're gonna try to keep that arm externally rotated and then slowly bend the elbow. So start to bend. As you bend, you're gonna keep rotating, driving that rotation so that maybe you feel like you have more. You can just come to a 90-degree angle, like yay. And then you're gonna relax and straighten your arm back out. Yep, exactly, we'll just reset. So, one more thing to note here as we set ourselves up, make a strong fist. If you've got a tennis ball, you could squeeze it. You're gonna externally rotate as much as you can. At the end of that, you should feel that your shoulder blade does in fact slide down. Do you feel that a little bit, Kristen?
I don't know.
See if you can max out straight arm, max out external rotation, and see if you can feel that shoulder blade wanting to come down with it. Yeah, there we go. Now keep those muscles turned on. You'll kind of feel like the back of your armpit maybe. Keep that actively engaged as you start to bend that elbow. Go for it. Bend, keep rotating, keep rotating, keep rotating. Good. Relax and stretch it back out. Exactly, perfect. Max out external rotation. Keep that shoulder blade pulling down and then bend and fight for more rotation. Rotate, 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 rotate. Good, and relax, nice. One more time, stick it out. Good, externally rotate and start bending, rotating, bending, rotating, bending, rotating. Good, and relax, very nice, okay. So what you should feel on that is that if you're staring down the barrel of my arm, as I bend and my lever gets shorter, theoretically we should be able to drive a little bit more external rotation as we go. Well, you just be mindful of your elbow trying to sneak in front of you, right? So we want to leave that upper arm where it is, bend at the elbow, try to rotate, but try not to move where the elbow is in space. Do your best. Okay, other arm, which is how you say arm. Okay, good. So opposite hand's going to monitor the shoulder blade. You're going to make a nice strong fist, nice actively straight elbow to start. Maximize your external rotation. Leave that elbow where it is and start to bend. Yep, I'm gonna get out of your way. Good. Bend, 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 bend. Excellent. And then relax and reset. Nice. Maximize external rotation. Good. And then bend. Try not to let your elbow come forward. That's it. So you should feel like more and more and more is happening at that back of the armpit spot. Good. And again, you can stop kind of right at that 90-degree angle. Rotate as much as you can. And then bend, keep pulling that shoulder blade down. That was your best one yet, good. Right back out, maximize external rotation, and bend, keep rotating. Rotate the bicep, rotate the bicep. Yes, beautiful, good, relax. Okay, you know how I am with counting, so we might have been slightly uneven, but it's okay, because we are anyway. All right, so now we're gonna do one more set of those each side. If it didn't make a ton of sense the first time, that's okay. External rotation is a no man's land for most of us that we do not train. It will make so much sense on the second go round. So stick that original arm out nice and straight, opposite hand right on the shoulder blade. Try to park that elbow where it is, maximize external rotation, and then slowly bend in, fighting for more rotation. Good. Send it back out. Maximize external rotation and bend in. Good, that's 2. Send it back out. Maximize external rotation. Pull that shoulder blade down. Abs are still on. Block is still squeezed. Butt is squeezed. Rotate, 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 rotate. Good, that's 3. We've got 2 more. Send help from your lower body. Squeeze your leg muscles. Squeeze your butt. Go for it, Kristen. Bend, 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 bend. Rotate, 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 rotate. Good. Last one. Settle that shoulder blade. Maximize external rotation and bend, 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 bend. Good, and relax. Very nice.
You didn't warn me I'd be doing a 20-minute plank.
That's true. Take a wiggle break if you need to for your plank, whether you're standing or kneeling. That is the hidden benefit of Kinstretch, is that you do a lot of core training to keep yourself still while you're doing your joint training. You're welcome. Okay, other arm. You're gonna change positions real soon to something that's also like a plank. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're doing great. Okay, so settle that shoulder blade down. Deep breath in. Pack some air into the abdominals. Squeeze your butt. Squeeze your block. Maximize external rotation and then start to bend in. Yes, good. And then straighten it back out. Good. I'm just gonna adjust you a little bit here. Keep your t-shirt logo facing towards the camera. Thank you there, but give me your arm. And then rotate as much as you can and bend in. Keep rotating, keep rotating, keep rotating, and stretch back out. Maximize external rotation, and then slow-mo bicep curl, trying to get more external rotation the whole time. Beautiful. Stretch it back out. That's 3, I think. Externally rotate, good, and then more rotation, more rotation, more rotation, right where you feel my fingertips, right at the back of the shoulder. Last one. Max out rotation. Best plank yet. Thank you. Good, and relax. Yeah. Okay, wiggle, relax, give your knees a little break. You can take that block away, set it to the side. We are going to move now to our little pseudo quadruped series, which is where you'll need your coffee table or the couch. So I'm gonna have Kristen do this side first, which is the one that was not just working. Well done us. Yeah, we'll give this arm a little breaky break. So Kristen's gonna come into a quadruped-ish position. So hands and knees, yep. And then she's gonna make what we call the half cactus shape. So the arm that's closest to the coffee table is gonna come out so that the elbow is directly out from the shoulder and that the elbow, forearm, and wrist are supported comfortably on that surface. This is another place where like your towel could be handy if you are particularly sensitive in contact with the surface that you're on. So then we want to find a stretch through this general flow of tissue. So you might feel it already, or like Kristen is going to need to lower her torso position relative to the elbow and forearm position to open up that stretch. So she's going to widen her knees a little bit, and she could even come down to her forearm here. And she's going to hunt around and find a stretch. So anywhere in the front of the shoulder, in the chest, ideally kind of all of the above. The only thing I want you to watch out for here is that your elbow needs to be in line with your shoulder or slightly above. It's not going to be so happy if it's below.
Got it.
Yeah, so you can slide more towards the windows if you want. And this is another variable to play with as you retake the class. You could be right at a 90. You could play around with different vectors. That's all different lines of tissue. They might all need some stretching and some training. You got a good one?
I got a good one.
Great, okay. So now we're gonna breathe a little bit. So I'm gonna have Kristen just enjoy this stretch sensation. We're not gonna hang out too long. We're gonna do a little bit of our maximal expansive breathing. So I want everybody, Kristen included, to just do a little body scan and go, is there any part of me that's uncomfortable the way that I'm arranged that I could adjust slightly such that I feel a little bit more comfortable to hold this stretch? So not changing the stretch angle, but like all the other bits of you, do they need to go somewhere a little bit different so that you can feel really focused on that stretch? One thing you can do here is rest your forehead on the block. if you're close enough to the ground, or play Build-A-Blocks. And then your neck can chill out a little bit too, which is nice. Okay, so we're gonna do a little maximal expansive breathing. So I want you to breathe in with a really intentional and full breath, and then just let it go. So the inhale, you're trying to fill your pelvis, your belly, your waist, your ribs, 360 degrees up into your chest. And then it's like someone just unpinched the opening to the balloon and the air just flies out of you. So find your own rhythm with this. You're on the clock, filling up your full being with breath, really feeling maybe some stretch and expansion in the ribs and the lungs, and then just letting it go. And the only other caveat is that I want you to preserve the angle of the shoulder and chest where you are feeling that nice stretch and line of tension. Couple more breaths here. Big breath in, and let it go. One more big breath in, and then let it go. Nice, okay. So now, Kristen is slightly externally rotated. You doing okay or getting tingly?
I'm good.
Okay, she's slightly externally rotated and she's abducted in the shoulder. So we're gonna try to PAILs, or isometrically contract, all of that stretching tissue. So the first thing I'm gonna ask you and Kristen to think about is putting a little bit of pressure into the table as though you're trying to bring your arm in front of your face. Yeah, so that you feel kind of that whole swath engaged. Keep that at a low intensity, maybe like a 2 out of 10. And then add to that a little bit of trying to internally rotate, but again, I don't want the scapula to participate. So you're gonna keep that shoulder blade on your rib cage. You're gonna try to think about just rotating, which might feel like your wrist is getting heavier into the table than your elbow, but your elbow is not going to leave the table. It's just like you're trying to rotate down through that surface. Now keep that 2 out of 10 effort and slowly, like you're dialing up an old school volume dial, work your way up to what feels like 50% effort for you. Slowly working up. Good. Once you get to that 50% effort, I want you to hold there. We're gonna do a nice 30-second hold and see if you can, again, send help from other parts of your body. So if you're in quadruped here, you can think about squeezing the floor between your knees. You can think about bracing your abs a little bit more. You could squeeze both fists. Anything to send some tension to those tissues that are working. Keep rotating down through the table. Keep trying to sweep your arm in front of your face, trying to get both of those actions on. One might feel more accessible than the other. I'm okay with that. Eventually, I want you to try to feel both at the same time, but that's, intermediate Kinstretch. Keep holding for 3. 2, stay in position. 1, slowly melt that contraction effort down to 0. Take a deep breath. Beautiful, well done. You might feel that all of a sudden, there's a little more slack and you can move a little deeper into the position. Or you might be like, nope, that is my end range. I'm gonna camp out right here. Either one is great. So next, we're gonna try to work the opposite side of the joint, the regressive tissue. So I'm going to have Kristen come up 10 to 15 degrees from that intense stretch. Yeah, so the chest comes up just a little bit so that she can still feel maybe a mild stretch, but not as intense. That's going to allow us to create some actual movement. When we're at our end ranges, we can't really produce concentric effort where we're actually moving, then changing the shape of the joint because we're so close to that end range, which is where we're weakest. So we're going to come out of that just a little bit so we can get a little movement happening. So now I'm going to ask Kristen to brace her body. So here's your next plank, Kristen, sorry. So ribs knit in, armpit stuff is pulling down. She can pinch the floor. You can too if that feels good. And then we're going to try to rotate that upper arm bone such that the fist gets light and the elbow stays where it is. Woo! And then slowly place it back down. And this is perfect. I don't know if you can see that from here. Her wrist lifted like maybe a finger's distance off the table, and it felt like the hardest thing you've done today, probably. Yeah, okay, so that's correct. That means you're working right close to your end range. If you got a lot of movement and it didn't feel very hard, bring your chest a little closer to the floor. If you got 0 movement and no sensation of contraction, bring your torso a little higher up from the floor. Okay, so let's do this again. Deep breath in, pack that air down, nice and strong body, nothing's gonna move except that shoulder joint. Externally rotate to make the fist light. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Control the return back down. Good, stay tense, do it again. Rotate, hold whatever you get, and fight for more. 3, 2, 1, control back down. You should feel this in the back of the armpit region. Sorry if that was ticklish. Brace, rotate, hold and fight for more. Rotate, 5, 2, 1. Almost gave you an extra count. Nope, we're just doing a 3 count. Brace, pinch the floor, send help, whole body involved, rotate, hold and fight for more. 3, come on. 2, 1, good. No wrist gymnastics. I want that lift to come from the shoulder. Brace, rotate, hold and fight for more. 3, 2, 1, and then relax. Woo! Okay, let's get you out of this position. Nice work, gang. Those are tough. So you can come out and just wiggle, whatever you want to do. Actually, this wasn't part of my plan, but I think we should do it. Let's come back to, let's sneak in some full glenohumeral CARs while we're here. So come on back to that position we were in for the warm-up, your tall kneeling. Block optional if you want that tension in your legs. We're going to bring the arm that was just working directly out in front of your chest. You're going to make a fist. We're going to maximize external rotation, and then you're going to cut across your body as far as that armpit will let you. Good. And then start coming up towards your ear, as close as you can bring your arm to your ear until you feel like you're trying to bring your arm to your ear, but nothing's happening. For you, Kristen, I'm going to suggest you put a hand on your ribs, that you know that's the movable part for you. Good. And then find that edge. How close can I get my arm to my ear where I'm giving the command, but it's just not going further? Then rotate the bicep away from the face, maximize that, and then start exploring the idea of reaching behind you, all the way back behind you. Maybe finding some of those tissues that just worked. Good. Keep rotating, winding the thumb under. Good. Reaching back, and then you're going to come all the way down by your hip and pause. We're going to rewind that pattern. Reinvest in your body tension. Be a plank. Squeeze your fist. Reach straight back until you feel like you're still trying to reach back, but your body says no mo. Then rotate, axial rotation, and start to come up and over the top, getting as close to your ear as you can without that shoulder blade trying to pop up and say hi. Good. Nice straight active elbow for me. As you pass the ear, externally rotate. Good. And cut across the body. Pinky pulls across as far as it can. Try not to let that elbow bend. Good. We'll go again. Come up towards the ear. Breathing in there somewhere. You're doing great. Get as close to the ear as you can. Find that sticking point. Beautiful. Internally rotate, and then start reaching behind you. Keep winding up, searching. Is there more internal rotation that I can get without that shoulder blade getting involved? Thank you. All the way down by the hip, and then rewind. Reach straight back. How far can you get your thumb back behind you? And then rotate. Smoothly coming up. Keep this pain-free. It's okay to feel work, it's okay to feel burning, it's okay to feel weird cramping sensations as you come past the ear. Thumb winds out, pinky pulls across as far as you can, and then relax. Good, okay, nicely done. So now we did this arm, let's do your other arm. So I'm gonna have you set up so your head's towards me. Good, perfect. And then start hunting around for that stretch sensation. So we just snuck some extra glenohumeral CARs in there. CARs, as you know, are a way to sort of like warm up, prepare your joints, and do maintenance. They're also a really key way to save and upload the changes that we are actively making with our PAILs, rails, lift-offs, all those kinds of tools that help us expand our range of motion. The CARs are sort of like pushing refresh so that your nervous system goes, oh, I have these things now. All right, so as you're hunting around for your stretch on the new side, it may be in a slightly different place. It might be a whole different world of sensation. So I invite you to really be curious and play around with your angles. Does that elbow need to be a little higher than your shoulder than it was on the other side? The one thing I'm going to ask, Chris, is that you don't let your ribs pop out here too. Yeah. So if you lower your torso, you're going to lower your whole torso. Exactly. You find a good stretch on this side?
I think so.
Ish.
Feeling it like here.
Okay, yeah, that's fair game. Front of the shoulder versus more in the, you had more in the chest on the other side, right? Yeah, so it's going to be a little different side to side, but again, anything in this anterior shoulder into chest region is fair game. We just want to find a line of tension that we can work with. So then hang out here, we're going to do our breathing. Just going to slide your elbow up a little bit more. There we go, good. So big breath in, fill the pelvis, fill the belly, fill the waist, fill the chest, fill the ribs, and then just let it go. Sigh of relief. Big breath in, fill, 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 and then let it go. Beautiful. Easing into that stretch. Keep breathing, find and settle into your own rhythm. Each person's literal canister size for filling with breath is going to be very different based on the size of your ribs, your lungs, and your torso. So the length of your inhale will be very different than someone else who's working out with us. So I want you to find your own rhythm of really filling up your canister and then just easily letting it go. Take 3 more breaths just like that. Biggest intentional breath in that you can, taking up more space, expanding your capacity, and then just letting it go. Big breath in, fill, 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 and let it go. We got 1 more together, team. Big breath in, and then let it go. All right, so then we're ready for our PAILs. So you're gonna make a fist if you aren't yet, which you probably are not, good. And you're going to first make both your elbow and your wrist heavy into the surface, such that you feel like you're trying, if the surface weren't in the way, you'd close that arm in front of you. And give me just like 2 out of 10 effort there. So fairly chill, give yourself somewhere to go. Now, if you can add to that, also trying to rotate down through the surface, such that your elbow stays heavy, but your wrist now becomes heavier. So she's trying to like lever down through that table. And then keeping both of those actions alive, slowly and incrementally increase until you feel like you are at 50% of your maximum strength effort for these movements. And that is going to change over time. Hold that 50% effort, breathe, and now start to gather strength from the rest of your body. Can you pinch the floor with your legs? Can you brace your abs anymore? Could you squeeze your fists? All of this just turns up the amount of neurological drive that's present in our system and allows us to sort of like, it's like the phone a friend for your body. So you can send help to those little baby shoulder tissues that are trying to work hard in their end range, which is tough for everybody. Keep holding for 3. Nice, Kristen. 2. Stay in position 1 and then slowly just let that effort melt out of your body, but try to leave the bones where they are. You're just letting all the muscles go, which is a technical term. Okay, you doing okay? Any tingles, any weirdness? Good. Okay, if you get tingles, which you might, just come on out and then come on back when you're ready. You gotta build your stretch tolerance for this stuff. There's a lot of nerve tissue that flows through this junction as well. And tingling and numbness are not gonna help you earn that trust of your nervous system. Okay, so then Kristen and you at home, you're gonna come up just slightly 10 to 15 degrees from where you were, adjust your position, and we'll do our tester rep to see if we can now rotate the opposite way and get the tiniest bit of lift of our wrist from the table. So brace your body, abs, legs, everything strong, and then try to externally rotate. Yeah, oh my gosh, and slowly control back down. That was perfect. So again, she barely lifted. It took everything in her body to get those little muscles to fire at their end range. And that's exactly where we want to be, but you will have to do a little bit of Goldilocksing to get there. Okay, we got 5 3-second holds. Here we go. Brace the body. Rotate from the shoulder. Hold. 3, fight for more. 2, 1, slowly control back down. Don't let that shoulder blade hitch up. Brace, rotate, hold, and fight for more rotation. 3, 2, 1, slowly let it go back down. Make sure your neck is still chilling. The neck is not the shoulder. Brace, rotate, hold, and fight for more. Yes, best one. 3, come on. 2, twist it. 1, slowly return. Don't let that elbow move in space. 1 more, brace, rotate, hold. 3, 2, 1, slowly relax. I think that was 5. Counting is hard. Okay, come on out of that position. Come back up to either tall, kneeling, or standing. We're gonna get one more, a couple reps of the full glenohumeral car for that arm that just worked. So, yes, you can come up to tall kneeling. You could sit seiza if you want. You can stand. Just want it to be a comfortable base position where you can monitor your spine for no movement, no rotation. So as you do this one, Kristen, you're gonna think about keeping your t-shirt logo facing straight ahead, even as your arm moves into different positions. All right, so start with the arm at about shoulder height or chest height. Again, we're gonna try to keep that shoulder blade on as much as we can. So Kristen's gonna monitor her ribs, but you could also put that opposite hand up in the shoulder blade monitoring position if you know that's your personal cheat. So choose your own adventure moment. So we're gonna maximize external rotation and then cut across as far as you can, pulling that pinky across the body. Good. Our next target is the ear. How close can you get to the ear without flaring your ribs, bending your elbow? When you find that spot for yourself, pause, maximize internal rotation, trying not to let the arm come away from your face, but it will a little, and then start to reach behind you. How far behind you can you reach? This is where the t-shirt logo needs to stay facing forward. Keep winding up rotation all the way back and down by the hip. You're doing great. Imagine the air is dense and you have to carve through it. That's going to help you with your 1 mile per hour pace. Reach straight back, find your sticking point, then axially rotate. Next target is the ear. Keep that elbow nice and straight. How close to the ear can you get? Ooh, fight for it. Come on, come on, come on. As you pass the ear, start winding the thumb out away from you and pulling the pinky across. Good. Pause there. Regroup. Make a better plank with your body to support the work of your shoulder. And then we'll go again. Pinky pulls across the body maximally. Next target is the ear. How close can you get to your ear with a straight arm, strong braced torso, no body English in the spine. Once you find that sticking point, maximize internal rotation, twisting your bicep away from your face, and then start to reach behind you. Try not to let the arm drop too soon. As far back as you can, keep winding up that rotation. Good. Keep that shoulder blade quiet. You're doing so well. I'm just throwing out all this juicy stuff for everybody at home. And then reach straight back. How far behind you can you reach without the arm going away from your body? Yeah, nice. Then axially rotate. Next target is the ear. How close to your ear could you get without jumping the shoulder blade up? Yes. How straight can you keep that elbow? As you pass the ear, start winding up external rotation. Thumb rotates away from you. Pinky pulls across. And let it go. Sometimes I feel like an auctioneer. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. All right, great job. Okay, also want to say, if you're new, some of the cues that I say are going to be like, what? That's okay. As you do this material again and again, more of them will start to make sense and in different ways. And that's part of the neurological learning process that cannot be skipped. It's not you being like intellectually dumb about movement. It's like your body hasn't had enough information coming at it about the shoulder to be able to feel the things that I'm asking you to feel. And that will level up as you continue your Kinstretch practice. And we'd love to hear about it in the comments. Okay, so next up, we're going to do one more set of our little lift-offs on the table on each side.
Great.
Your favorite. But because I'm nice, we're only going to do 3. We're going to do a 5-second hold instead of a 3-second hold. Okay, so now as you do these lift-offs, you're going to try to get whatever lift-off you get. When you feel your stopping point, you're going to fight for more. So Kristen's trying to rotate more, but she has reached her end of range. So it looks like stillness, but it is actually very active. As we do our successive reps and the tissue gets fatigued, you might start to not be able to hold that position. As long as you are fighting to hold it, even if gravity is winning, you're still getting the training effect that we want for you. So just want to put that out there. Okay, so let's come back to the first side on the coffee table. Locate your stretch position first so that you know where end range is. That's where we'll feel that stretch. And then you're going to come up like 10 to 15 degrees so that you can move the wrist but barely. So let's do one little quick test rep. Make sure you can get any lift at all. Exactly. Good. And then come on down. Again, if you've got tons of lift, I'd want you a little lower. If you've got no lift, I'd want your torso a little higher. Adjust any of your other body parts to feel super solid. You want to be able to feel like you can make yourself into a plank in whatever funky frog quadruped shape you're in. Deep breath in. Brace your midsection like you're ready for somebody to come by and try to move you and you're not going to be moved. Rotate that upper arm such that the wrist comes off and hold for 5. Fight for more. 4. Yes. No shoulder blade. 3, 2, 1. Slowly return it back down. Beautiful. Better brace for the second rep. Turn up the intensity of the rest of your body. Rotate, hold, and fight for more. 5, 4, 3, everything in you fighting for this. 2, 1, slowly return back down. Great rep. One more. Whole body turned on, nice and strong plank. Then rotate. 5, 4, 3. Yes, breathe. 2, 1, slowly back down. Oh my goodness. That was beautiful. Nice work. Okay, gang, take your time switching yourself over to the other side. Find your setup on the new side. Again, remembering that this is a whole different shoulder. It's a whole different elbow. It's going to have a whole different potential need for arrangement in order to find that nice stretch sensation either in the front of the shoulder or the chest, or bonus points for both. Bonus points are my favorite. Long, easy neck. Get something under your head if you need it, so you can just like let your neck tissues relax. And then if you've found your stretch, you're going to come up away from the floor with your torso just like 10 to 15 degrees. So you should theoretically be able to move. So do your little quick tester rep. Perfect, you got it. The other variable to play with here is you could rotate so your thumb is up, or you can leave your palm facing down. Either of those is fine. Play with it as you please. All right, you ready, Kristen? 3 5-second holds. Brace your whole body first. So do the best plank you can in whatever weird shape your body is in. Rotate and hold. Fight for more. 5, 4, whole body. 3, 2, yes, 1. Slowly relax. So she just got like 50% more effort when I said whole body. It really, really, really helps. Brace your whole body, best plank of your life. Rotate, hold and fight for more. 5, 4, legs. 3, thank you. 2, 1, slowly back down. It's easy to forget about our legs. There's a lot going on neurologically here. Last one, you're doing so good. Brace, rotate, hold. 5, 4, fight for it. 3, 2, 1, slowest release of them all, and well done. Cooked. Okay, so all we have to do is run through our little glenohumeral car one more time, and then we are good to go. So you can come to whatever base position feels good for you. We're gonna do a timed set. So, nope, I'm lying. We're gonna do 2 reps, and I am gonna cue you through them. If you're familiar with the shoulder car, stay with my cues, but also find your own timing. Don't feel like you have to be at the position that I'm naming when I'm naming it. We don't need to be synchronized swimmers. The important thing is that you're going 1 mile per hour, that you're moving through very dense air. Think like Nutella that's been in the fridge. You're in a pool of it. And find the edges of your range, right? Really find where is that stopping point where I'm trying to get my arm closer to my ear, but I cannot, okay? So arm that was just working, no, arm that was not just working, straight out, good. Brace your body. So yeah, nice strong brace. If you want to have that extra hand on your ribs or on your shoulder blade for extra feedback, go for it. Externally rotate as much as you can, and then carve across the body. Pull that pinky across. How far can you go without bending your elbow? Good. Next target is the ear. How close can you get to your ear without your elbow bending, without your ribs flaring, carving through that dense air? Nice, Kristen, really good job. When you find your sticking point there, maximize internal rotation, rotating your bicep away from your face. Good. And then start exploring the idea of reaching behind you, keeping that t-shirt logo adamantly staring straight ahead. Keep searching for more rotation. You're never satisfied. You're going to wring out more all the way down to the hip. Keep wringing, keep coming. Good. When you get to the hip, pause, reinvest in your plank, and reverse. Straight back. Find that sticking point. Unwind your rotation. And then come all the way up and over. Get as close to the ear as you can. Brush your ear with your bicep. That might feel like a joke, depending on your range of motion. As you come past the ear, pinky comes across, thumb rotates out, maximize that external rotation, and we got 1 more to do. Deep breath in case you weren't breathing, reinvest in your plank, back up towards the ear. Good, really actively straight elbow. This might feel like a tricep exercise the whole time. When you find your sticking point, maximize internal rotation, nice, and start reaching behind you. Make sure that shoulder blade's still settled down on the rib cage. It's really going to want to hitch on up to help you out. Keep winding up internal rotation all the way down to your straight back. Find your stopping point. Nice. Externally rotate and come up by the ear. Graze your ear. As you pass the ear, pull across. Keep externally rotating. Some of my students can do that, and relax. Yeah. This is the crazy thing about bodies. We are all proportioned very differently, and we genetically have different amounts of stretchiness in our connective tissue that's going to affect how much our tissues can stretch. Then we have our whole life experience that's affecting how our bodies move. So that's part of the thing I want to reinforce with this class is I'm going to say some cues because I know we got some real flexible shoulder people in this group, but we also have people like me and Kristen that are like, brush my ear? You're joking. It feels like a joke. Okay, Kinstretch is a joke. It's like Netflix is a joke. All right, come on up. Last side. Reinvest in that plank of your body. Everything from the collarbones down to the feet is strong and squeezed. So if you're tall kneeling, you can try to press your feet into the floor. Beautiful. Bring that new arm up to chest height. Start maximizing external rotation and then carving through that fridge cold Nutella. Good. Next target is your ear. How close to the ear can you get? Maybe you touch it, maybe you don't. It's all good. Get to the edge of your range. That's what's important. Once you find that spot, internally rotate and then start reaching behind you. Behind you. Yes, good. Yep, use your other hand for tactile feedback. Make sure that shoulder blade isn't popping up. Coming all the way down by your hip. When you arrive at your hip, pause, do an extra check to pull that shoulder blade down, and then rewind straight back as far as you can reach. Search for it. Once you find that stopping point, externally rotate. Next target is your ear. How close can you bring your bicep to your ear with a straight elbow and locked in ribs? That's the question to let your body answer. Then as you pass the ear, externally rotate, thumb out, pinky across. And that was one, I think. We gotta do one more, huh? Okay, deep breath in, reinvest in your plank. Last one, best one. Carve across, come on up to the ear. Do your best to stay close to the ear as you internally rotate. That will not happen. That might feel like a joke, but try. And then start to reach behind you. Good. Keep that shoulder blade settled. Good. Keep winding up your internal rotation. Yes. All the way down by the hip. All we gotta do is get home. Reach straight back. Unwind your rotation. Come all the way up towards the ear. My East Coast terrible accent is really coming out today. And cut across. It's because I'm in New Hampshire. I'm going to blame it on my environment and relax. Yes. Yay. Good job. Really, really nice. So this was a great example of like a beginner class that is nonetheless tough, right? Requires some athleticism from you.
I'm so sweaty.
We can't tell. You look beautiful. Friends, thank you for practicing with us. I would love to hear your feedback and questions. Pop that in where it says enter exercise results in the app. And thank you, Kristen, for being my willing, we call it a Kinstretch hostage. That's the other term we like to use. So thank you for being my Kinstretch hostage.
Thank you, I don't know, that might have been like the best worst thing.
Best worst thing. That's kind of how it feels. That's appropriate. All right, gang, we'll see you soon.